This is a 14-minute Psoas release practice. The poses that I've chosen for this practice specifically address issues with the psoas muscle. The psoas is a deep skeletal muscle that attaches the top half of the body to the bottom half, so it's very important. It's also responsible for a lot of nerve and subtle energy. It's also connected to the root chakra. So when we're talking about root chakra, especially with everything that's going on in the world today, the root chakra, if you remember, is responsible for feelings of security and safety. So the psoas tends to get affected by blockages in the root chakra, and it tends to manifest in feelings of insecurity, nervousness, anxiety, which I think probably everyone can say that they've been feeling lately. So the psoas is also a really funny kind of muscle that people tend to tweak, especially when they're doing different poses in yoga or being active if they normally spend a lot of time sitting or driving. So the psoas can be a really nasty muscle to try to stretch and release. So the poses in this practice hopefully will get to the different aspects of the psoas, offer you a little bit of relief and release. And at the end of this practice, we will have a grounding meditation. We'll be using a mudra that also addresses and activates the root chakra. So let's get started here. I filmed this outside, as you can see, so I needed some fresh air desperately, even though it wasn't very warm out. You'll notice that I've got a scarf on to try to keep myself warm. All right, so take a moment to settle into Sukhasana first. Balance between the two sit bones. Find a moment of stillness. Take a moment to center yourself. Try to find some comfort and ease in the pose. Remember, Sukhasana means sweet pose. This is a good time to just settle into your practice. It's also a good time to activate Ujjayi breath, drawing your attention from the world around you inward. Deep, easy breathing. Not always easy when you're outside on a very windy, blustery day. Let's move to our next pose now. This is Dandasana. This is sometimes also called staff pose. So take a moment to transition to comfortable seat with the legs extended, feet are flexed as if you were standing on the wall in front of you, toes reaching up. The knees can be soft if your low back is a little sore. You do want to activate thighs. This is an active pose. And then the arms are straight, palms pressing down to the ground beside you, right next to the hips. Nice straight posture. Chest is expanded, allowing for nice, deep, full breaths. The chin is just slightly tucked down, allowing some space in the back of the neck. Very active pose here, also very grounding. Stay with your breath. Nice, deep, easy breathing. Moving now to half-seated pose. So you'll bend one knee in, extend the other leg straight out, wrap your arm around that bent knee, and take one arm behind you, pressing deeply into the mat behind you. And as you breathe in, imagine your spine growing taller. And as you exhale, try to come deeper into the twist. Inhale, breathe in, spine grows tall. Exhale, come deeper into the twist. On your next inhale, come back to center. We'll move to the other side. So this time, hug your left knee into the chest, wrap your right arm around, hanging on to that knee, and then the left arm comes behind you to support. The twist is from the middle of the body here, so your hips are stable, chest is facing out toward the side, nice deep breathing. Inhale brings the spine taller. Exhale brings you deeper into the pose. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale deeper into the pose. We're moving now into cow face pose. So this is tricky if you've got any knee issues. You can come into a gentle Sukhasana if this bothers your knees, but cow face is knees are bent, stacked on top of each other. Hips are both pressing deep into the mat, so you're not hitched up on one side. Your feet are flexed, spine is nice and straight. Just take a couple of moments here. This is a really deep stretch on the hips. So if you do have issues with the psoas, you're gonna feel it here for sure. Breathe into it. It's okay to feel a little bit of a stretch, but if you do feel pain, come out of this pose and come into a Sukhasana. You can switch over, lean back, change the cross of the legs. And you may notice, as usual, that one side of the body may feel differently than the other, and that's normal. I think this side was a little bit tighter for me. So just take a breath. You don't have to push yourself into the same expression on each side. Just notice if the body feels a little tighter. That's normal. Just kind of breathe through it. Inhale and exhale. And we're transitioning now to a mountain pose. So you can come up to mountain any way that you're comfortable. I like to kind of take a moment in a child's pose, kind of stretch it out a little bit, especially after cow face. My hips are a little tight, so a nice child's pose is a good transition for me. Coming back into a down dog. Again, slow and easy. Rolling yourself up one vertebrae at a time. And if you're wearing a winter scarf, sometimes it'll fall over your face. That's normal. And come into mountain. Again, this is an active pose. Arms are out to the side, balancing between all four corners of the feet. Sometimes I like to just kind of remind myself to bring my shoulder blades together. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Take a few minutes to breathe here. Inhaling and exhaling. And now transitioning to a warrior two, so Virabhadrasana 2. Take your stance on the mat, and I'm coming into a very gentle warrior two, just because I'm not trying to extend too far into the pose. The knee does not extend over the ankle. Remind yourself again to bring the shoulder blades together. Take the gaze over the front fingertips if it's comfortable for the neck. Shoulders and hips are in line. Breathing, nice deep breaths. And then when you're ready, you can switch sides. Turn your feet in the opposite direction. Take a moment to come into the pose, bend the front knee, extend the arms out. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming now to a slight balance pose. So I did a very modified tree pose here. Just kind of hitched my ankle up. Real gentle balance. Hands in Namaste, Anjali Mudra. You have a choice here. You can bring the foot up to the outside of the calf. You can bring it all the way up to the inside of the thigh, just never against the knee. Finding a drishti, focusing, keeping your balance. And then switching to the other side. Again, you can have hands on hips. You can bring your arms up if it's comfortable. Today, hands in prayer just felt right for me, so that's what I did. And then transitioning back down to the mat any way that you feel comfortable. If you want to do a vinyasa, that's fine. Coming down to a forward fold, coming back to a nice gentle downward facing, down to the knees, and into a nice child's pose. From child's pose, transitioning now to Shavasana. We're going to move into our meditation now. So this is a root chakra meditation, and the mudra is a Chinmaya mudra. So you're going to come into a fist with your hands, the thumb on the outside, and then make a circle touching the index finger to the tips of the thumbs, and then rest the hands on the tops of the knees. Take a moment to come into stillness again, feeling grounded, feeling that both sit bones ground into the earth. Focusing maybe on the root chakra, breathing into it, reinforcing feelings of stability and safety, feeling connected to the earth, feeling connected to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And as we come to the end of our meditation, Maybe take a couple of deep breaths. Hands in front of the heart center. Thank yourself for your practice today. Namaste.